Hi everybody! This video is going to cover how to add a level to our current project. So we are using the third person template as a basis for our thing. And so if we wanted to add a new level, I think it's important to first look at where our current level is. So if you open up your content drawer, you're going to see on the left hand side you have third person. Now if you chose like first person template or something, this could be called something completely different. It would be like first person or top down or whatever it is on your side. But what you're looking for is this, right? So we have one that's called level underscore third person. So that is what that is our current one and one we're working on. And so and we're going to basically count that as level 1. So if we wanted to create a level 2, what we would need to do is we're going to go to File and say New Level. And then we have some choices here. We could have an open world, an empty world, basic, or an empty level. And so we're going to try just using a basic. And we're going to hit Create. And this is going to be a completely separate level outside of the other one. And so we're going to want to save this, and we're going to go up to File and Save Current Level. And you can do Save Current Level As. And then what I'm going to suggest for you guys is hopefully you have a folder that is your data. And I just like having some kind of organizational system where the data or the stuff that you're actually making is put into one folder so you can easily find it and retrieve it again. And we're going to call this level. So I want to keep the same kind of naming convention. So it had level underscore, and I'm going to call it a platform because it kind of looks like a platform, the one I chose. So you could name it whatever you want. Now we have our nice little platform level here that we can do anything we want with. And just to give you some ideas of what you can do that you might not know about is if you come up here on the toolbar and it says selection mode, it's like next to the little cube with the plus on it, you'll see that you have some option here. One of them you might like is called modeling. And I say this because it's pretty easy to just click on an item and you could add items to your world. Like that, right? So I just click on it and add it to the world. So, you know, could add a sphere, anything that you like. There's other options that you could play around with, but we're not going to go into any of these. But if you want to look at them and see what they're like, and you could play around with them. But now I have a little cone in my world that I can play around with. And you could add other stuff too. So like we could go into our stuff that we've pre-built before, right? We have our bolt. I could add a bolt into the world. I could also add more enemy characters because we built the enemy last week. So I could build that. So right, so we have our enemy there. Now he might not work like he did in the previous one. And, you know, I could collect my bolt just the same way I did. And you could also play around with, if you go up into the outliner and you look for player start, what this is an object that you can't really see if you don't have it selected, right? You know, it kind of looks like a little controller. This is our player start, and it tells which way the character is going to face, right? The red is where they're facing and where they're located. So if you wanted to move them so that they are kind of not in the complete center, but you want to move them like to the side, and we could like alter the angle so that they're facing the thing. So when we hit start, right, now we're facing the outside wall. We're not facing what we want. So that didn't work really well. We want to change that again. We want to face that way. And now I'm facing the right way, right? So you could play around, add some stuff, make the level interesting to do for a second level. In the next video, I'll show how to have our first level have a trigger that will open up our second level.